yeah, the transition needs money, and also there should be public awareness. What is this green energy we are talking about? This renewable energy, what is it all about? How is it going to benefit me? How is it going to benefit communities? So they should be aware. This awareness will make them involved in, they will gladly accept it. Okay, it's going to benefit me this way. It's better than the reliance on fossil fuel. Our environment will be cleaner in terms of emissions of carbons and the rest. So they should be aware of what they're bringing to them.
Okay. All right, still talking about awareness, would you say government has done enough in terms of creating this public awareness for renewable energy in Nigeria?
Yeah, I think government they are trying, but more can be done when it comes to the issue of awareness. More can be done.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Richard. Okay, can you share examples? We've talked about countries that have been successful in transitioning from fossil to renewable. Can you mention or share example countries that have been that successful in transitioning, and what key strategies contributed to that success?
Okay, just like Germany, they have a program called the Energy, and it was a government initiated program. And what did they do? They ensured subsidies, government incentives, subsidies and tax breaks.
Okay.
They gave businesses tax breaks and subsidies on renewable energy. So now businesses were willing to accept the initiative. They're glad to accept it. Then we also have in South Africa, we have what we call the REI and REI 4Ps, which is renewable energy independent power production procurement program. Even though South Africa still relies on coal, but they know they've been able, through this program, they've been able to attract investors. Because their major focus is solar energy, wind, and bioenergy. So they've been able to attract investors in these areas. Also, we have China. China is the leading country when it comes to solar creation of solar panels. And what strategy did they adopt? They've invested so much. So that was why you asked the question, and I was like, government needs to invest because it requires money. So now, investment, that was what China did. They were able to invest. Then in Germany, they gave subsidies, tax breaks on this renewable energy. So businesses were able to, accept that, this one is better compared to other available options. So these are some strategies that countries have been able to adopt.
Okay. With you mentioned South Africa, not necessarily diversifying, so so to say, still not completely breaking off from fossil, but attracting massive investment into renewable. And we do that because it seems that it's going to be quite difficult for us to completely disassociate or transition from fossil in Nigeria, because that's one of our mainstay.
Even Germany, like I mentioned,
Yes.
Germany, even with the incentives and everything, they still eat their coal. But it's just that the overdependence has drastically reduced. Yes. So it's not like you will do away without fossil fuels, but transitioning and diversifying into the use of green energy, it will reduce the overdependence, and the carbon emissions and everything will be reduced. So it's not like you just neglect the fossil fuels completely. No.
Okay. All right. I understand what you say, but in terms of Nigeria, how possible do you think that would be? A reduction in overdependency of fossil fuels. In the south, gas flaring and all is still ongoing. Down here, we have, first of all, we are chopping down so many trees especially in the rural communities. We are chopping down so many trees. Shade and cover is going. So how can we reduce that overdependency in Nigeria?
Yeah, when it comes to Nigeria, I think,
in your own opinion,
it's a gradual process.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a gradual process, and the communities need to be enlightened. That is very key. They need to be enlightened. Why do we need to diversify? Why do we need to move into the use of renewable energy? Policies can be put in place. So these are the few ways we can start this journey of transformation.
Transformation. What challenges do you think hitherto or would the government encounter, especially in the rural areas? My focus today, my concern rather, is on the rural or in the rural areas. How do you tell the rural dweller that can't afford coal? First of all, they chop down trees for that. To desist from that, and what options does he have? What cheaper options do we need or alternatives, if at all there are any?
In the rural areas, like you mentioned, if, because we know their major source of cooking is from forests.
Yes.
Yes, now, even when you cut down trees, you can replant afforestation.
Yes.
You encourage afforestation in such areas. Yeah, areas where you will see that they can't do without felling of trees for cooking and some basic purposes. So you encourage afforestation. Yes.
Thank you very much. All right, listener, that's my guest, Mr. Richard Ashinze, an environmental geologist, discussing in the studio with me. And if you're just joining us, this is Radio Nigeria Highland 101.5 FM Jos, and this is the Ziva Community Initiative Radio Engagement Program on the project, the role of artisanal and small-scale miners, ASM, in energy transition and climate change in Nigeria. And our topic of discuss today is the success stories in ASM and energy transition, lessons in Nigeria. Okay, for now, we shall be taking a short break, and when we return, the discussion will continue, and also the second segment will kickstart. That is where you get to be part of the program. We'll roll out our phone number for you to call us and make your comment or contribution or ask my guest a question or two. So join us after the break. Don't touch that dial. Okay, well done. So let's come a bit closer to the microphone.
ASM is driving change for a greener Nigeria. With renewable energy we lead, we inspire. ASM at the heart of the energy transition race. Together we'll win at a sustainable pace. So join us every week on Radio Nigeria Highland 101.5 FM just Thursday from 12 noon to 1 p.m. Join in on the conversation for a sustainable future. It's a shared dedication. This program is brought to you by Ziva Community Initiative, African Center for Energy Policy, ACE, promoting sustainable, artisanal, and small-scale mining practices for Nigeria's energy transition.
All right, listener, you're welcome back. You're welcome back. Good afternoon to those of you who are just joining us. This is Radio Nigeria Highland 101.5 FM Jos. My name is Stephen Ego, and you are welcome to the Ziva Community Initiative Program, Radio Engagement Program on the project, the role of artisanal and small-scale miners, ASM, in energy transition and climate change mitigation in Nigeria. My guest in the studio is Mr. Richard Ashinze, an environmental geologist, and where we are discussing the success stories in ASMs and energy transition, lessons in Nigeria. All right, listener, this is the part you've been waiting for, where you get to be part of the program, where you can call in and make your comments and contributions or ask my guest a question or two. The number to call to be part of the program is 091 6197 5630. 091 6197 5630. So I take the number once more. 091 6197 5630. Call us and be part of the program. All right, Richard, while we wait for the phone lines to start buzzing, let's continue with our discuss. Technology plays a huge role in shaping the future of energy. From solar power innovations to smart grids, there are many technologies driving the shift towards clean energy. how can Nigeria leverage technology to accelerate its transition to renewable energy, and what role do startups and tech entrepreneurs play in this transition and in this regard?
Okay, talking about the roles startups play,
Yes.
or roles they can play.
Yes.
We talking about renewable energy. One thing is to transition into renewable energy, and another thing is for the people to accept this energy. And what way can we do that? This renewable energy has to be affordable. It has to be affordable for the locals and the average Nigerian. So it has to be affordable. And also there can be decentralization of grids, renewable solar grids or whatever energy, if it's wind, if it's solar, if it's bio energy. Now there also be a platform for consumers and producers where they can relate. Platforms where they can relate is very essential. Just like the talking about bioenergy, which involves the use of agricultural waste and municipal waste. Now the producers need this waste, not just the consumers. Now the producers need this waste to generate this energy. So now how can we get this waste from farmers, from maybe households and the rest of that? So there should be a platform, and also when this energy is produced, how can the consumers have access to this energy? So that, I think that is a major. These are major roles. Techpreneurs can come in.
Startups.
Yeah, startups can come in.
Okay. What about Nigeria? How can Nigeria leverage on technology to drive this agenda, to drive this transition?
Yeah, Nigeria leveraging on technology, it's a gradual process, and one, I think we can actually venture into various regions with the available sources of this energy, these natural resources. Now, just like Nigeria, we have the northern part. We know, okay, sunlight is like can be like one of the major sources. Every region with theirs. So now Nigeria has to go with the most suitable energy source for each region, for every region. Yeah. Then also what else? I think just like I said earlier, affordability. Government can also come in, give subsidies, tax breaks, and other incentives just for people to accept this initiative. Yes, so I think these are ways government can.
Okay. What about the issue of education? What role does education play in either supporting or stifling this transition? Do you think education plays a role?
Education is key. Education is key. That was why I've been emphasizing on the public awareness, public education. The public needs to know how this initiative will benefit them. For me to accept your initiative, you have to give me reasons, valid reasons for me to believe, for me to be convinced that yes, the initiative is key or better than what we've been. So education is key.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, listener, don't forget, you can be part of the program. This is Radio Nigeria Highland 101.5 FM Jos, and this is the Ziva Community Initiative Radio Engagement Program. On the project, the role of artisanal and small-scale miners, ASM, in energy transition and climate change mitigation in Nigeria. And my guest in the studio is Mr. Richard Ashinze, an environmental geologist. And our topic of discuss this afternoon is success stories in ASM and energy transition lessons in Nigeria. Don't forget, the program is proudly sponsored by Ziva Community Initiative, with support from the Africa Center for Energy Policy, ACP. And our number to call is 09161975630. That's 09161975630. Call us and make your contributions known and comments known also. 09161975630. 09161975630. All right, I hope the network issues have been resolved so that we can get those calls coming in. Okay, let's talk about sustainability. It's a major concern within the mining sector? How can the ASMs and their operations minimize their environmental footprints while remain economically viable?
Okay, this is similar to the question asked earlier, which has to do with practices which
Oh,
ASMs
yes.
can be engaged in. And one, I talked about the equipment used. Now, when it comes to ASM, we have what we call mechanical tools, semi-mechanical tools. Yes, semi-mechanical tools, and we also have and pressurized like sludgers and the rest. Now, these tools help in the issue of land degradation. They reduce land degradation, and also I spoke about the water treatment because water is key. That's why a lot of ASMs have adopted the sedimentation ponds. Yes, because that's what they can do instead of the treating of water. That is also a way to treat water, which is very much affordable on their part. Then the reforestation. Afforestation is key. You plant trees and you reclaim these lands after activities made after a period of time. You are done exploiting the area, excavating everything. You reclaim the lands, even if not as you met them, but at least closer to the way you met them. So all these things will definitely help improve sustainability in this
Okay.
area.
Okay, still talk about ASMs. We know that many of the big tunnels underground. How do we now, um, how do we correct such issues or anomalies when they are done, when they finish at a particular site? We don't have various tunnels. How can that particular land or these lands be reclaimed instead for forestalling someone from those lands and then the building collapsing or caving in?
Okay, that's where the issue of reclamation comes in, the land reclamation. And now, when they dig tunnels, these sediments have been they're deposited somewhere. Let's say even after the activities and everything, maybe where they dug where they kept the sediments, they've been loaded or something. There are other ways to reclaim the lands. Yes, even if it's not with the original sediments that was removed, they can still be reclaimed with other sediments from other areas, with other regions. But they must ensure that these lands are in proper shape before they exit the area.
So who's going to be there to ensure uh, the right thing is done?
The policies are there. We have the policies, the laws are there. But now is the enactment.
Enforcement.
Yes, the enforcement of these laws. Yeah, so and we have NESRA, that's the National Environmental Standards and Regulation Agency.
Yes, yes.
This is included in their functions. So, but the lands be reclaimed. That is what is in the law. So
Okay.
we encourage sustainability.
All right.
Sustainability.
I still want to come back to the pond segmentation you mentioned.
Okay.
Yes.
The sedimentation ponds.
Yes, segmentation ponds. When they leave the water there to, so that yes, the minerals can, heavy metals and all can settle, and then they pump out water. Then what happens? They go and refill these lines when they pumped out water.
I said something earlier. Mining waste are utilized by some sectors, like the construction sector. Yes, they utilize mining waste. The waste disposal sector also utilizes this waste. So now, after treating these waters, the waste, like the ones that can be utilized by the construction companies, they go that way. The waste from
So the waste management.
the waste management also. So these are the possible ways to reduce this waste.
Okay. All right. Can we talk about the roles non-governmental organizations can play and individuals in shaping sustainability and when we talk about transition or reduction in overdependence on fossil fuels?
When I'm talking about NGOs, we have several NGOs playing sustainability roles. We have the green mine initiatives, and thereafter we have forestation. Because when it comes to mining, in a lot of situations, trees must be cut down just to have access to the area. So now, green mines initiatives, they've advocated, they are still advocating for the reforestation. That's afforestation, planting of trees. these are the little ways we can make sure our sustainability is improved. Planting of trees, then reclamation of lands. Now talking about the reclamation of lands, the government is also involved in this. There's what we call the Plateau State Land Reclamation Program. What is this program all about? How do we reclaim lands that have been abandoned due to mining activities? Because there's since the early 20th centuries, they've been mining activities going on the plateau. So now, how do we reclaim these lands? That's why the Plateau State Land Restoration Program was set up. So these are the functions. These are little ways we can improve sustainability.
Okay. One more question, still with on NGOs and individuals. Like Ziva is doing its own bit with this radio engagement program to shed more enlightenment. Apart from what Ziva is doing, what else can others do to join this this movement for transitioning from fossil renewable? What other initiatives and mechanisms can other NGOs or well-meaning individuals and Nigerians do drive to support government initiative towards transition from from fossil to renewable energy?
Okay, I think public education it will play a vital role.
Okay.
Setting up workshops, you enlighten people about these things. Workshop is a major initiative which will definitely reach out to thousands of people when it comes to sustainability, transitioning into greener energies. You enlighten the people, even the ASM, the artisanal and small-scale miners. You set up workshops, which they actually do. Set up workshops. You teach them. These are the new or the most sustainable practices when it comes to mining. This is what you should do. This is what you should not do. They take it up from there, but definitely education will go a long way. Yeah. So then also reclamation of sites, mining sites. And there should be, the policies are there, but they need to be enforced. I think that's one way government can come in. The environmental police, they need to enforce these policies. Reach out to ASMs, tell them, okay, this is what should be. Even though, yes, we know you are maintaining this practice, but when you are done with this site, what do? You reclaim these lands. They encourage afforestation. So these laws should be implemented. I think these are ways that really help when it comes to sustainability.
All right, thank you, Mr. Richard. All right, listeners, if you're still with us or you're just joining us, this is Radio Nigeria, Island 101.5 FM Jos, and the program is the Ziva Community Initiative Radio Engagement Program on the project The Role of Artisanal and Small-Scale Miners ASM in Energy Transition, Climate Change and Mitigation in Nigeria, where we bring you insightful discussions on artisanal and small-scale mining, energy transition, and climate change in Nigeria. My guest in the studio is Mr. Ashinze, an environmental geologist, and our topic of discourse this afternoon is the success stories in ASM and energy transition lessons in Nigeria. The program is proudly sponsored by Ziva Community Initiative Support for the Africa Center for Energy Policy, ACEP. And the number is 091 61975630. That's 091 61975630. Do call us. We are eagerly anticipating your calls and comments on the program. 091 61975630. That's the number to call. All right, I do believe we have a call coming in. All right, hold on. Hello. Yes, hello, good afternoon. Yes, good afternoon. You're welcome on the Ziva Community Initiative Radio Engagement Program. Who's on the line, please? Okay, Teresa Samuel. Pam?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Where are you calling us from?
Hello?
Yes, where are you calling us from, Teresa?
I'm calling from Greenfield, Jos.
Okay, go ahead, make your comments and contributions.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Teresa. Thank you for calling.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. That's our first call coming from Teresa. Teresa wants to know what role do community leaders play in in enforcing and ensuring that the mining laws are met by miners and enforced.
The one thing is, when it comes to community leaders, they are the closest to their people. When it comes to community engagement, they know how to speak to their people better than anybody will. They are youth leaders, kings, chiefs, whatsoever. They know how they are in charge of their community as a whole, and they know what to do. They know the law to enforce. And when it comes to community education and awareness of renewable energy or sustainable practices, they know how to communicate. How do we gather our people? How do we make them attend these seminars, these workshops? So they are best at doing that. So that alone, you cannot just go into a community and say, okay, you want to enlighten the people about these things without meeting with the community, because you cannot organize these people. So the community leader organizes these people. Then even after the workshop, the education and everything.
Okay, sorry to cut you short. We have another call coming in. Yes, hello. Yes, good afternoon. Yes. Adewumi? Okay, Adewumi from Bauchi Road. Go ahead, Adewumi. Make your contributions. Thank you, Adewumi, for your contribution. Thank you very much. All right, that was Ademi. His contribution was in line or talking about the decline in soil quality and vegetation due to on mining activities, especially in his domain, that is Bachi Road, I guess, and the felling of trees. So he also had a question to ask, what does one do when one has a parcel of land and you want to develop that land, and there are probably trees, and we've talked about afforestation. So what do you do? How do you utilize that land for your own use while still trying to plant more trees?
Okay.
So before you get to it, whether you finish, I guess you finish with Teresa's question about talking about the role of community leaders.
Community engagement.
Yes.
That's the major role of community leaders.
Right, okay, you're done. Okay, like I said, it's community leaders, okay, they are critical stakeholders because it's easier for them to step down, mobilize, and also step down information and present it to them in language they best or understand. Yeah, so talking about now, coming to Adumi's question, what's your response?
Yeah, I think he already answered this question because he made mention of planting of trees.
Yeah.
So now, utilizing the land for your own personal purpose, just like I've been saying earlier, you plant trees, you encourage afforestation. When you cut down a tree, you ensure that you plant another. There are laws guiding these things, the forestry laws and everything. So when you take for instance, you want to build a house on a land, then you have to cut down trees and everything. After you build them, you can still plant these trees. Yes, definitely. So that's just to planting of trees. That's
Okay, so Adewumi, I hope that response is adequate for your question. All right, time is fast running out for us on the program, but before we go, as we wrap up, let's look ahead. The future of ASM and energy transition in Nigeria will depend on strong policies, as you rightly said earlier on. Investment, you did mention, and community engagement, as you just so mentioned. So, what are the next steps for Nigeria in ensuring full energy transition and sustainable, having a sustainable ASM sector?
okay. In this, I did mention of diversification. So now I'll talk about modernization. As countries, there's a global movement towards greener mining, greener energy. Nigeria should be ready to adapt to these practices. Let us encourage, welcome this modernization. Far back as the early 20th centuries, mining activities have been going on. These environmental and social degradations have been on. We do not need to keep mining like they were mining over 50 years ago. There are better strategies to mine now. So let us adopt those strategies. So that is one. Then also the government, as individuals, we have roles to play. Also the government have roles to play. They have roles to play. Government should be ready to partner with public and private sectors. Partnership is key. And also investment, just like I rightly said, investment. They should be ready to this after preaching about this renewable energy to communities they've accepted. Then the government comes in. How do we make this affordable for our people? Is it through subsidies? Is it through whatever incentive, whatever tax break? How do we make it as affordable? So this is where the government comes in all of this.
All right, thank you very much. All right, as we wrap up today's edition of the program, what final words do you have the listener out there, and what does the future hold for Nigeria's ASM sector and its energy transition journey?
Okay, I would say we really don't have to live for this for the government, because at the end of the day we are the government. So we should be, as citizens, as have a role to play. That is what I would say.
Okay, so we are all stakeholders. We should all
Exactly.
get involved, get on board.
Yes.
Thank you very, very, very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Richard Ashinze, an environmental geologist. Thank you very much for your insightful ideas and discourse on the program. Thank you very much, and for the success stories also. They are very valuable lessons. We are all involved in ASM, that's artisanal and small scale mining, or interested in energy transition one way or the other. So we encourage the listener out there to learn from these examples and apply them in our own work. So join us the same time next week for another thrilling edition of the program as we continue to explore the world of ASM and energy transition. Thank you for listening. My thanks go to my callers out. Thank Teresa for calling in from Rayfield, and also Adeomi from Bachiro. Thank you for your time with us on radio, and also my thanks to the Ziva Community Initiative crew for making and putting this program together, making it a success. Thanks to the duty continuity announcer, Grace. Thank you very much. My name is Stephen Eagle saying bye for now. Join us same time next week. Do have a fruitful week ahead.